speaking of big problems, the President of the United States obviously has a severe case of OPS. This is old person syndrome. Something is not right with Joe Biden. We all know it, and they can't hide him forever. And they have been leaking him out a little bit more. Every now and again, he'll take a question when he's not supposed to, and then often he says, oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that. Or he walks up to a microphone and sort of blathers some incoherent nonsense. Well, now, former presidential physician Ronny Jackson is coming out and talking about what he thinks is going on with Biden. This is not some crazy random conspiracy theorist off the street. This guy was a presidential physician under George Bush, under Barack Obama, and under Donald Trump. Take a listen.
Absolutely, Sean. And I've been saying this from the very beginning. I've been saying that something's going on here. I was saying this when he was candidate Joe Biden. And I've been saying that it's only going to get worse. And guess what? We're watching that happen right before our eyes right now. And I'm at the point right now where, I went from, telling people we should be concerned about what might potentially be going on to now saying, hey, what is happening right now? Where are the people in our academic medicine that were out there calling for President Trump to have a cognitive test? Where are these people? There's something seriously going on with this man right now. And, I think that he's either going to resign. They're going to convince him to resign from office at some point in the near future for medical issues, or they're going to have to use the 25th Amendment to get rid of this man right now. There's some serious stuff going on right now. And if they do that, it'll be the president's cabinet that initiates that. And if you got to imagine, if you're a cabinet member right now, if you're the president's Secretary of Defense or Secretary of Treasury or his Attorney General, you have to be looking at him right now and thinking to yourself, like, what is going on? Can I take direction from this man right now? And I think that's going to start happening pretty soon. I think there's going to be some serious pushback from the White House and from the left to do something about what's going on, because you mentioned in your opening, this is a national security issue at this point, Sean. It really is.
Okay, that's Ronny Jackson, former presidential physician. He's not mincing words there, and it basically sounds to me like he's telling the truth. I don't know what is wrong with Joe Biden. I am not a doctor, and I'm certainly not Joe Biden's doctor, and he's not Joe Biden's doctor either. But he does know a little something about medicine. He knows a little something about what it's like to care for the President of the United States. And he's also just telling us something that we all know, right? He's just telling us something that we all can see, and yet it's not shown on mainstream media anywhere. And what do we do about that chasm? What do we do about the divide between what we all can see and what mainstream will allow us to process together, right? Because that's the only thing that kind of holds us together as a nation. It's like, this is why we need a sane and decent and honest media. It's like we're all seeing different stories right now, and depending on who you follow on Twitter and what YouTube shows you watch and anything else, like, think how different the set of facts that you guys know and the ideas that you care about from watching this show, let's say, think how different that is than someone who's only watching MSNBC or only watching CNN. It's pretty staggeringly different. So there was this CNN town hall. Biden babbled it was just absolutely extraordinary. Can we grab that quote? We're going to try to grab a quote from it. I'm going to redo something, if we can pull it up in time. I'm going to redo something that Biden said. I think it was originally tweeted maybe by Allie Beth Stuckey or somebody over there, a quote card. I sent it out on Twitter a couple days ago. We'll see if we can grab it, I think from Friday. Biden also the other day was doing a little press conference, and he said he was on the Judiciary Committee 150 years ago, which, if that's true, then he's a vampire. So what do we do about this? I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think this is a little sort of similar. There we go. We got the quote. I'll get to it in just a second. Can you make that a little bit bigger, if possible, on the prompter? I think this is sort of similar to the airlock situation with COVID lab leak. So for about a year, there was a certain amount of people online who were saying, oh, there is a chance that COVID leaked from a Wuhan lab. There's a chance that maybe we had funded some of this stuff. Like, there's a chance, right? And what were they told? They were told that they were conspiracy theorists. They were told they were crazy people. They were told that they should be banned from Twitter and everywhere else. And then for a year, that basically went on. And then remember what happened about a month ago. Jon Stewart went on Stephen Colbert's show and said something about the COVID lab leak theory. And then suddenly everyone in the mainstream media felt that they could talk about it because the airlock had basically been broken, right? So it's like, oh, Jon Stewart said it, a good decent, standard liberal has said it, so now we can all say what those crazy right-wingers were saying this entire time. And I sense that's going to be exactly what happens. Mark my words. I'm saying this at the end of July 2021. Mark my words. That's sort of what's going to be what's going to happen here, that it's going to be something like Barack Obama over the next couple months will probably be in an interview and do one offhanded sentence where he'll be like something like, oh, you know, Joe isn't exactly what he used to be, or maybe Joe's lost a step, or maybe it'll be as far as maybe Joe should think about stepping down or something like that. And then suddenly everyone in the media is going to pretend that now they can all talk about it, and that, you know, suddenly all the people who they were calling crazy for talking about it this whole time, like, I think you got the point there. So, okay, I'm going to read this quote. This is an exact quote that Joe Biden said to Don Lemon at this CNN town hall. I have to look a little low because we're doing this off the computer here, but just listen to the quote and you tell me if this makes sense. I can't even read it as slowly and confused as Joe Biden, but just tell me if this makes any sense. And the question is whether or not we should be in a position where why can't the experts say we know that this virus is in fact it's going to be, or excuse, we know why all the drugs approved are not temporarily approved, but permanently approved. That's underway too. That's just one little thing, and you can watch the video on that. And I just want to say one other thing. This is not me being partisan or me being an asshole or me not being sympathetic to old people or people with cognitive decline or any of those things, okay? I've told you guys this before. I spent a lot of time in New York with my grandma, who had the beginnings of dementia in the last couple years of her life and was constantly repeating herself and forgetting things and becoming frustrated. And guess what? There was actually some beauty to it too, because in some ways she forgot a lot of the things that she used to worry about and complain about, and she really became a really wonderful, quite spectacular person at the end of her life. She always was, but really, like, we bonded in an incredible way. And because I was doing stand-up at night, I had a lot of free time during the day, and I would take her to doctors several times a week. And she had other health things too, and I would take her to doctors and the repetition and taking the cognitive tests and all of those things. So I don't say any of this lightly, but like, if you're a journalist right now who's not saying something about something we all can see, are you a journalist? And if you're someone who believes that America is good, and you believe that the office of the presidency matters, and that any of the political stuff, that any of this matters, like, and you're trying to hide it or not talk about what you can see because it's your guy in office, like, are you a patriotic American at that point? Like, so I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Those of you that are seeing these things, you're not conspiracy theorists. You're not crazy people. I don't think you're trying to be dicks about it. I'm certainly not trying to be a dick about it. But something ain't right